conversation deck is filled with lines that you will read or actions that you'll act out. So I'll show you the different types of cards. Regular talk cards, like this one, says, "I never thought about it like that." You just read it, put it down, and that's your turn. And then you draw another card. There are also mini fill-in-the-blanks cards, like this. I can see that you're filming me right now. The action card, here's an example, a simple stare. But some give you verbal instructions, like they may say, imitate another player. Refresh and demands. This is a refresh card. Same way as a talk, you just say it, put it down, but once you play a refresh, you can discard your hand and draw 4 new cards. There's new subject cards, you just read them, put them down, and then you can flip over a new emotion, setting, and comment to start a kind of a new round within your game. The most important cards in the game are the questions and the demands, because the questions and demands are how you catch another player and how you win each round. Question? Can we talk about something else? No one else can play a card. If anyone plays a card, they lose. Kind of like Simon says, or if someone acts too quickly or they're not really paying attention, they lose. So as soon as you play the question, if anyone plays a card, you call them out, boom, you lose, and then you collect your winnings. Specific questions and demands, like this. They quiz another player on the conversation. These you don't play face down, you actually play them face up, and you point them at the player you want to quiz. So for example, this one says, I would say, "Audrey, tell me the second to last thing that I said." And then if she can't answer correctly within 5 seconds, I win the round.
But I can, I always can.
So those are all the cards in the deck. Pretty simple. Like I said, you're just creating a conversation on the fly, and then you are trying to catch your significant other or your best friend not paying attention to you. One of the last things I figured out in the game before I put it on Kickstarter was the scoring. And we found out that the more intense you make the scoring, the more people focus on winning and the less they care about having a conversation. So they started like really paying attention to everything. They were less creative in the same process. So we want a really simple scoring system. Win one, take a point. Just like that. So basically, this game was a 2-player game for a long time. And I tried multiplayer, and I just couldn't figure it out. I was like, yeah, we'll go in order, because everyone goes in order, and so people would play, but then you would say something like, "Would you last tell me?" You know, and that never works, because you're always pointing to someone else. And then I was like, okay, well maybe if it's a question, you can break the flow. So, you know, ask you a question, but then it's obvious you're doing something different, you'll never get caught. So I just tried a whole bunch of things, and then finally,
yeah, well basically when Chris, when we first started playing this game, I was like, well, why not, isn't it multiplayer? And he was like, he'd done all that testing for us. Like, it doesn't work. It'll never work. It doesn't work. And like, it took, I don't know how many months of prodding. He was very firm on it. It's not a multiplayer game. I'll do the multiplayer version later.
So we were playing with 2 people who were like, well, why don't you try multiplayer? I was like, it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And then Audrey's like, just try it. I was like, alright, we'll see how it goes. And I was like, we'll do it differently this time. We'll do a real conversation. Like a real conversation, you can display the card whenever you want. And that's the one thing I wanted to try. I assumed it wouldn't work because I figured people would just talk over each other. And people would interrupt and all that. And so we tried it, and just like a real conversation, people waited for people to finish talking. And it just worked.
Don't look at me. I wait sometimes.
I mean, sometimes you will talk over, but it's not like chaos like I imagined. The other thing that you and our mutual friend Greg helped me with was when I first made the game, you just kind of played cards.
Yeah.
And then it evolved and it evolved, and then I started having just opening comments at first. And that, you know, let you have a subject and whatnot, but it still would end up a little dry. So per his and her suggestion, they're like, well, why don't you have an emotion in there as well? So I was like, you know, I can have an emotion and a backdrop. And then suddenly, it's just, well, first you usually start out with a laugh, just imagining like the random mix together is good. And then it just gives you more of a backdrop to form your conversation in, makes it more natural, gives you more to talk about, makes it more real. So, kudos to you.
You know,
kudos to me for choosing you.
That's not true either.
There are no explicit cards in the entire game at all. I wanted to make it so you could play with, you know, your dirty friends as well as your siblings and your dirty friends and your parents or and whoever. So there's a lot of fill in the blanks, so you can take the conversation anywhere. But there's nothing. Probably the dirtiest or the worst card in the deck is the opening comment that says "You've been drinking." So that might have, you know, get a few people riled up. Maybe I'll take it out, but that's pretty much it.
Okay, and what age range is this, like in your personal recommendation for?
Anyone who can talk. I played with my, a few years ago when I was making it, my 10 and 12-year-old brother and sister sat down and played for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
So really, as long as you can talk, as long as you can read, you'll
a
be
fourth
fine.
grade reading level and up is basically where you want to be. So like a 10-year-old and up, and then you can play with anybody.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so I'm afraid at the gym. Those children look so buff.
Believe me, they're just stuffing.
Oh god.
No comprendo.
I know you know what I'm saying when I say,
You're just gonna keep pushing me, aren't you?
Your tone. Is that a question? I hate questions that aren't questions.
I am feeling jealous
So pretty.
in court.
Oh boy.
Your parents are on trial.
I've heard that before.
You didn't mean to say my parents, did you?
Yes, he did.
No, I meant her.
I like this storyline too much.
You got that right.
To be honest, your parents are a bunch of stinking thieves.
That's correct.
Well, you need to tell me these things before we get engaged.
I have decided to tell you what I think is appropriate at the right time, and that's now in court.
Let's talk about something else. Can you do that in court? I don't know.
You may.
I'm feeling sly. A dinner with the parents.
Perfect follow-up. Are we in prison?
Something smells like your mother's pot roast.
Oh.
You're making me hungry.
Surely there'll be enough left over for tomorrow.
Fine, it's not pot roast. I let one go.
I see.
Please, let's get out of here.
That will never happen.
You know, he's not any better.
I totally love it when you let one go when it smells like your mom's pot roast.
Okay, I'll do it more often.
This is the truth, but his smell like dead chipmunk.
Were we really just comparing the smells of our toots?
Tell me what you said right before.
Let him win! I can't believe you let him win! You're so dumb!
So, Chris, how much does this game cost?
$25.
So Chris, why is it worth $25?
It is worth $25. Because if I sell for any less, I'm gonna go broke. There are 240 cards in this deck. They're all different. It's all color. And then there's going to be 60 of these starters. So it's just really expensive to print all those cards. And it's also $5 to ship. So I plan on retailing it for $20, and then plus $5 shipping, $25.
Do you think there's $25 worth of fun in this game? 25.
You tell me. How long have you been here?
Yeah.
How long have we been here? How long have we been playing this game? Like
Yeah,
4 hours?
So almost 4 hours?
Yeah, 4 hours. So that would be how much per hour? At least $5
So
per
you
hour?
never
I'd
played
pay
again?
$5 per hour for this game.
Yeah.
And that's if you never play again.
And that's if we never play again? $5 an hour? That was fun.
These starters only have one on them each. When I ship the game, there's going to be a total of...
Okay.
So right now, I think there's like 30 in each stack right here. There's going to be 20 of each card, but there's going to be 3 on each. What's going to happen is there'll be a number on the back, 1, 2, or 3. So when you flip it over, you'll have 1, 2, or 3 here, and then you see whatever number this is, and that's the one you pick.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
And so
okay.
that makes it way more replayable, too.
Yeah, so you're going to have...
Because you'll go through the whole deck and not even have used 2 of everything on each card.
Exactly.
Genius.
Yeah.
Why should they get the Kickstarter version of this as opposed to waiting for it to be printed and then buying it later? What are they going to get getting it through the Kickstarter
So,
version?
first of all, if you don't back it on Kickstarter, it's just not going to get made. I need to fund it in order to actually get a print run out. But to make it exclusive and special for Kickstarter, I'm adding 9 cards, 1 of each kind of card. There's 6 cards, types of cards, questions, demands, actions, etc. And there's 1 of each of those. So for a total of 9 cards you will only get with the Kickstarter version. And also I'm going to put a special Kickstarter stamp or sticker or graphic on your box so that you can show everyone you got your version on Kickstarter originally. First edition.
First edition. We have to back this now. And you should too.
Subliminal messaging. Subliminal messaging.
You should fund this. So anyway, as we were saying, fund this now. We should fund this game and then it'll fund it now. Get the exclusive version.
You are so subtle.
You aren't really meaning subtle, are you?
Awesome, awesome, awesome. We're going to send out 3 print and plays, ask those people to record themselves playing this, send us back the videos, and then we'll sort of edit those videos together and put them up so that people that have to wait for the game can
And
laugh their butts
the
off.
winner gets a legit set. Right? Right.
Yes.
What?
Oh. Okay, bye. For some reason I can't think of anything appropriate.
I know what that one is.
What is it?
The Magnificent.
Yes!
What the hell is he?
What a magnificent... what a magnificent... mischievous... What a magnificent set of books you have there.